Hello, 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 friends. I'm going to give it just a minute. I'm going to make sure I'm live in the correct spot and not on my page. Just to make sure, you know, I always like to make sure. Okay, inside the group. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Okay, it's really weird. I had my mother-in-law's name at the top. I was like, why is my mother-in-law's name have anything to do with this live? All right, friends. How you doing? Let me get my stuff. Okay, so this month, I decided to give you all a little challenge. And this one is challenging. It's not that even that it's hard to paint. It's just a lot of pieces. And obviously you can make it as difficult as you would like, but I'm going to try to keep it somewhat simple. Hopefully you can hear me because all the machines are going. I'll tilt you just a little bit. Okay, first things first, the easiest way when you have this many pieces. This screen is always bothering me. Okay, when you have this many pieces, I line my tape out. Because it's easier to group all your pieces that are the same color and then just dab, dab, dab in a line. So first we're going to set ourselves up for success. This is just painter's tape. You can use any kind of tape, really. Just put it up, obviously the sticky side up. I'm going to do a couple lines because we got a lot of little pieces. Should probably point you down a little bit. Let me get set up here and then I'll... What are you guys up to? How y'all doing? And then as if the train wasn't enough, I was like, I think it needs a little something more. I think it needs a little sign to go with it. Alright. Let's see, make sure I got on it. So ahead of time, obviously, I went ahead and painted my white. I went ahead and did a few of the white or of the red pieces and sprayed them red just because there's so much to paint here. I didn't want to keep you guys here for an hour and a half. So we're going to focus on, I'm going very traditional. I'm going red, white, and two different shades of green. A dark green and a light green. Same greens I used on that when I posted the gingerbread bowl in that thread of the traditional colors. It's that same green. It's like a lighter green and a dark green, and I get this mixed up at Hobby Lobby. So it doesn't really have a name, but I'm using those two greens, red and white, and then obviously the stain. So keeping it very traditional. I can't see comments if you are prominent. Hi Amanda, I think that's you. If you're saying hi, I'm not ignoring you. It's just because it's not coming up. I want to make sure all is well before I start. Oh yeah, you did. Okay. Yeah, I know. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was something different, and you know, you could put this at any place in your house. Okay, so we're going to start with the stain first because it's the easiest. So that is going to be all of the bases. So each little train has the two bases. So those are going to be the stain. Your pole for your sign is going to be stain. The base of the pole is going to be stain. I'm going to use my tape here just because I have it here. And then I think the gingerbread and the reindeer. And then that's all the stain that I have for mine. So I'm going to line up my pieces real quick and get to glazing. The real detail is in all the little pieces. Woo. It's a little intimidating, honestly, but if you just break it down into different pieces, it's not that bad. You just got to take all of one color, and then once I get my picture posted and you have a little something to go off of, it's gonna make it much easier too. Let me get I'm trying to get my phone propped up so I can see comments. But of course that's not working. Okay. Alright. Stain first. And you can dab it or you can drag it. When you have pieces this big, sometimes it's easier just to take the sponge and drag it. If your sponge gets a little wonky by the end, you can always take your scissors, cut it off, make the end fresh again, and she'll keep going. So on this bowl, you really only have to worry about this piece and this piece, but I always just go ahead and stain it all, just because it doesn't matter. It's just so quick anyways. I figured we'd start with the simplest part first, and then that way it gives our stain a chance to dry too. I should probably point you down just a tad. Let's see what I'm doing here. Okay. I've been painting my little heart out over here. Shoo. There was, I think 2 on top of if you did traditional or whichever matches your Christmas decor, but I think it would be cute to do this in a like Candyland version too, if that was your theme. Or you could even, I don't know, like, you could even do like a Grinch's theme, which makes me think of your sister, Amanda. Okay, so on the reindeer, he's attached. So you can go over his antlers and all of his face, because his antlers and his hooves are 3D. So just go over the whole entire thing up into the line. I'll show you in just a second. Just go over the whole thing, and then we'll just layer colors on top of it. Okay, that is it for the stain, and that's all the train bases, the sign pole and the sign base, and our gingerbread man. And we'll go back and add details to him later on. Okay. Trying to keep myself organized here. Now, oh, that would be cute, Amanda. Well, you got your work cut out for that. It's gonna be cute when it's done, though. Okay, what should we start with? I guess I'm just gonna start with. Actually, I'm gonna start with the sign because it's easier. Christmas circle. Or Christmas. Oh wait, not Christmas circle. Yeah, Christmas circle. Trying to figure out my greens. Christmas circle, light green, Candy Cane Lane, dark green. Holiday Avenue, I'm gonna do a little ombre on it. This is red. Is that it? Where's my letter? Oh, Sugar Plum Drive. And that's going to be the dark green. So right here. Okay. Let me move this one up so I don't get confused. Okay, dark green, light green. Get my colors here. And you can do like a brighter green if you wanted, like more of a like really traditional green like this. But my traditional green, I don't know, it just is not it. So I'm going to go with, I really like this darker green and the lighter green, in my personal preference. So this is sugar, or wait, what is it? Sugar Plum Drive. And I'm doing it dark green, the top letters. And then Candy Cane Lane, the backing is also getting dark green. And again, we're just dabbing on. And my green, you have to like let it dry and then you gotta go back. Okay, that's it for the dark green for now. I'm gonna have to put another coat. For my light green, it's the Christmas Circle backing. And I thought about I contemplated, we'll see, about putting a little snow on the top of each sign, but I don't know, because I'm afraid it might clash with the words and be too much. Okay, and on Holiday Avenue, we're going to ombre it. So, I'm going to start with the dark green and go across the bottom. And I'm just dabbing over and over, and then I'm going to go across the top with the light green, and then I'm going to have to go back with the dark green again. It's kind of a process to get it to blend just right. It's like a layering effect you have to keep. Once it dries, I'll show you. Okay, I gotta go back and put one more dark green coat because it just sucked it right up and made it uneven. Is this the right green? Hold on. No, I just did the wrong green. Now I gotta go back over it. Good thing they're similar. Okay. One more coat. Okay, I think I'm half tempted to Christmas Circle. I might just leave it. I was half tempted to put a little dark green on the bottom, but I'm not. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to assemble some of this as I go, but because I already have my red sprayed. So, my Holiday Avenue, I'm putting my, so I did dark green at the bottom, light green on top. I know it's not very good lighting for you guys. That's why I always have to take pictures, because the video never really does it justice. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. Now you do have a bigger top piece. It says North Pole. My husband insisted on sending that piece. I am worried about it being too top heavy with that on there. I'm not sure, but we figured we would send it and let you all decide if you wanted to use it or not. But I'll show you what I mean once we get going. Sugar Plum Drive. And we have to deal with our presents on the bottom too. Okay. Sugar Plum. And I wanted to tell you guys, this glue, she's kind of temperamental in the cold. She doesn't work as good if she is cold. So if you really want your glue to adhere, make sure, obviously most of you are not painting in your garage like me, but just so you know, should keep it in a warm environment. Warmer, not 32. Okay, sugar plum. Let's see, it goes Holiday Avenue, sugar plum, Christmas circle. Christmas circle, the words are white, and again I went ahead and sprayed all my white because you know I like it crisp. I gotta spray paint it and give it time to dry. This is the North Pole piece I was talking about. This goes on top of your sign, but I'm worried about it making it too top heavy. So we're gonna just see. I went ahead and painted it. And I'm just gonna see what it looks like and all that jazz. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes until you know, just put it all together. So I'm still up in the air about it. But it has a little tree at the top, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint that green. The North Pole I have white, and then the words North Pole I sprayed red. So we're just gonna see how that looks. Christmas circle on top. Candy cane lane. Candy cane lane. My dark green is just kind of finicky. Okay, North Pole. And again, we just let you guys decide if you wanted to use it or not. But I mean, it is kind of like, you got Santa's train, probably going to the North Pole, or leaving the North Pole. So it all goes. It's just whatever you choose to do with it. Candy cane. I've been jamming to the Christmas tunes out here. I feel like if you have to paint Christmas all day and all night, at least you gotta hear Christmas music. I've already burnt my husband out. Between me and the kids. Alright, Candy Cane Lane. Go ahead and put the tree on, and then we'll take a look. See what the pole looks like. Oh, we gotta do our presents first. Okay. Let's see. The thing is if you put the white piece on the top, you also have to scrunch your signs closer together. I guess I'm going to be the test dummy to see if it's too top heavy or not. Okay, we got our presents on bottom, and this is what's going to help kind of even it out at the bottom to try to keep it standing up. So, let's see what we got here. Okay, so dark green present in the middle. This one's kind of layered too. You guys are really going to probably have to really zoom in on the picture and have it pulled up when you're painting this, just because of all the tiny details. The only positive side to this many pieces is there's not a whole lot of colors. It is, so you don't have to overdo it. I think, yeah, there is. There's a little red bow piece that goes over the left side. my red paint is color matched off of my red spray paint. So it's really nice because I can use it in spray paint form, or I can use it in paint form when I have pieces that I can't spray paint. So that helps me a lot. I'm going to put one more little coat on this green, and then we'll start putting these presents together so that we can put this stand together and see how it's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and glue this base piece together so that it's completely dry when we go to make it stand. Let's hope it stands. I'm really afraid of gluing that North Pole piece on. Okay. Okay, it goes red. I think we're gonna put this piece on first. I think the bow is white. Yeah. Okay. My paint's not really all the way dry, but we're still going with it. And I think I'll go back at the end and do my usual highlights and whatnot. But right now, I'm just trying to get it painted and put together. Okay, this red bow sits just right around that square that's in the center. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. See how that square in the middle fits right along the edge of this bow? So you'd probably be better off to paint this and glue this red bow on, then do the present. That way it butts up right against it. See that? Okay. Want to make sure, that's why I like to do it first, so that I can give you these little tips and tricks so you know what to watch out for. Okay, this, I'm going to go ahead and glue the presents on the bottom. I'm going to start there. Still debating on putting this North Pole piece on. There's no way to know if it's going to be top heavy until it's glued on. It's too late. So I'm just going to have to go for it. And that way you guys will know if it's too top heavy or not. So I'm going to glue it. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. And you can also, like, you can make your little signs straight, or you can kind of give them a little back and forth, kind of like wonky look, more whimsical. But I like I'm all about straight lines, so for me, straight is going to be the way to go. Okay, last one. And then I'm going to have to give it a second to dry before I can lift it up and show you all. And then we'll try it in the stand and see if it's top heavy or not. I'll be your guys' test dummy. I love the way it looks though. I'm loving the traditional. Guess I could go ahead and put a couple highlights on it while I'm waiting on my glue to dry. I hope you all can hear me, 'cause there's a lot going on here. I turned the volume all the way up, so. I'm just following the ribbon lines, nothing major. Just put a little white on the, actually, hold on, the bottom ones on this bow, I don't really like the way they look. I didn't follow the lines very well. When all else fails, just grab a baby wipe. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Of course, it's stuck to my tape now. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Now let's see if it's too top heavy for the stand, so that you guys know whether to glue the North Pole on or not. Okay, it stays. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue mine to my stand just to make sure. But it stays even with the North Pole on the top. See the little highlights? Isn't that cute? That's so cute. I know, I think so too, Amanda. So, I'm going to glue mine in my stand, which you can do whichever. It's going to probably be easier to pack away if you don't, but it's going to stay better if you do. So that's up to you. And glue underneath the present too. That's going to help. Okay, I'm going to let mine sit here just a minute before I let go. It's so cute. It's going to be so cute with the train. Alright. You know what? I'm going to go all the way across the bottom. If I'm going to glue it down, might as well go the full mile and go all the way across. The glue is taking forever. My lips have already been so chapped already. I don't know about you guys, but this is cold. And it dries your hands out so bad. It's like you can't put enough lotion on. Okay, I think I'm going to prop this up to where I don't have to hold it. Of course. Giving me troubles. There we go. Okay, I think we're going to start at the front of the train and work our way back. Actually, we put out all this tape so that we can paint all the pieces at the same time. So what we're going to do is we're going to just start separating. Sandy has a bunch of detail on him, so we're going to leave him at the bottom because we're going to need to see him. We're starting with the front piece with Santa on it. This line that goes underneath Santa is going to be dark green. all the light strands are kind of different, so I'm going to put it down on the detailed part. The front piece of the train is dark green, and then this piece is light green. And I went ahead and sprayed the other pieces, so it's the red. So I'm going to go ahead. What's the next piece? The Presents and Candy Cane. Presents and Candy Cane. I'm gonna make each tape line a different color so that I don't get confused. So light green, dark green, detailed. Detailed lights, dark green, light green, light green. I went ahead and did this ahead of time because there's so much color on it, so I'm referencing my picture. Okay. Dark green. I might have to move this way. Yeah. Dark green, light green. And then we'll have to leave all the train pieces because obviously they all have. Okay, next piece is one with the reindeer. So light green, dark green, light green, lights. And then very last piece is the gingerbread piece. And it is light green, lights, dark green, light green, and then the backing. Okay, so we're going to start with our pieces first, and then we'll do the back of the trains. So very top is light green. Now when you're painting the back of the wheels pieces, you only need to do the tip, the middle, and the end because it gets covered, the circles get covered up with 3D stuff. So don't waste your time painting the whole thing if you don't need to. So light green, okay, just glide them right along. And of course, I'm gonna have to go back and do another coat on them, but just trying to get the first coat on. Let me check on my stand over here. Okay, all is well. Okay, next, dark green. The sleeves keep getting in my paint. See how the tape makes it so much easier? Especially when you have a lot of colors. Just allows you to paint a lot more quicker. Especially like a lot of times if we have colors that we use a lot, we have those little mini rollers and we'll just roll over the whole line. Makes it quick and smooth. Okay. Come on, girl, stay down. Okay. I'm going to go back over the light green, give it a second coat. All the detail is going to be on the backs of the train. It's because different parts are different colors. Okay, gonna work on Santa now. So I got my red over here. So it's going to be his hat. And you can go over the lines because we have 3D pieces for his brim and the little ball and the beard. We just got to make sure that we don't go over his face. And that's about it. So there's that. We're gonna have to get, forgot my skin color, if I can find it. I'm gonna dab a little dab on his face. So if you're wanting to get like a super duper small space, and I don't really like the way that paintbrush makes it look, I'll just cut the sponge long ways and make a little tiny thin sponge, and I'll just go in this little area with the sponge and give a space. Little trick for you. And then I'm gonna do his glove stain, just because I don't really want it to be the only thing painted black. So I'm gonna do it stain. Okay, Santa, and this is what it looks like without the 3D pieces on it. So see how I'm talking about is you can go over the lines, because all the pieces there, like his little cufflet, the brim, and his beard all get 3D pieces, and the little ball on the end. Okay, for the lights, I did different color greens, like every other green for the like string part. So that's up to you if you want to make them all the same color or not. I'm going to do dark green, light green, dark green, light green. And I'm just doing the actual line part. And then I'm going to take probably the back of my paintbrush and do, actually I did dark, light, light, dark. Because the back of the one train is the dark green, so I had to make it light green. Which is hard to see when you don't have a picture in front of you, but you'll see at the end. You're probably like, you don't make no sense. But you'll see what I'm talking about at the end. And don't worry if you go over your lights, because you're going to put paint on top of it and it's going to get covered up and your paint will go over it. So I'm just doing the light strands first. And if you want your sponge to make a circle, squeeze it, and it kind of makes a round, which makes it easier to maneuver around a rounded spot. You could use a paintbrush too. I'm just so used to sponges that I can maneuver them how I want. Okay. Okay, for the light bulbs, I'm just going to do red, white on all of them. So I'm going to take, actually, should I use, and when you're doing the lights, make sure you get the little part before the light bulb, the little the part that attaches the string and the bulb. It's the same color as the string. And then that way all we gotta do is dab on the red and white on the bulbs. And again, it doesn't matter if you go over, because you're going to cover it up. Okay, I'm going to take the back of a brush for this part. And I'm just gonna go like this, every other one. It just allows so much more control instead of trying to get your paintbrush to. And I'm just going red, white, red, white. And if you go over the lines, you can always go back and touch it up with the green. I'm gonna shut that door open. You're loud. Alright. Just trying to package and run machines, story of his life. Okay. Almost done. There's a lot of detailedness on this. You guys, if you have a small attention span, you'd be having to do one train part at a time and come back. The finished product is worth it though. It's going to be so cute. Okay. Now I got to switch to white. I'm going to change brushes just in case there's any white paint on, or red paint on the end. I don't want to mix with my red. Okay. Let's see. So thirsty. Alright, switching to white. Back of the paintbrush. My white is really stringy, so I have to be kind of careful and slower with my white, because it's like house paint, not acrylic paint. So just be careful sometimes, because it'll want to string across the part that you're doing next. And I'll show you what these guys look like when I'm done, so you can get a visual. I'm sure you can't see them all that much. Have you guys put your trees up yet? I have not. I'm supposed to do it next Sunday with my kids. This weekend, we had a show all weekend, so that was out. I have Thanksgiving at my mom's next weekend, a paint party next weekend, but I'm going to make some time to put the tree up for the kids, because they're going to be gone on Thanksgiving weekend when we normally do it. They're going to Gatlinburg with their grandparents. So I have no choice but to do it this coming weekend. Okay. I'll show ya. Uh-oh, I got little tiny spots to touch up. There we go. I almost dropped the sponge on Sandy. See? Wasn't too bad. We just did 4 strands of lights. That quick. It's probably the quickest way to do it, I would think. I'm going to touch up a few little spots that look uneven on the green, but other than that, I think those are good. Okay, let me look at these pieces. Oh my gosh! White. Goodness gracious. There's nothing a wipe can't save. cut off the bottom of my sponge that now has white on it. Jeez Louise. Go back over this. Wipes for the win, always. Okay, my light green looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to move on and start working on the backs of these. I'm going to start with the front. And really, once we get these backing pieces done, then it's just assembly. So, not too bad. Okay, the back of this one is going to be light green. It gets a top piece, so you only need to do the actual train. The tires get covered and Santa gets covered, so don't worry if you go over. You can paint it pretty fast. I'm going to go up the little, I don't know anything about trains, but this piece gets covered and there's a little line underneath it and it gets covered. But the background still shows. So just go all the way up with the light green. And then the very front is a different color, so don't go past that front line. It is red. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. And you can go ahead and paint these little tabs. They don't really show, but I feel like if you paint them, it gives them a more finished look. Just my opinion. I got some paint in these little lines, so I got a little pokey tool, I call it. So, see what I mean? Don't worry about like staying in the lines. So that's all you need for that one. Done. The ones with presents get a little trickier. Okay, next piece. It's the presents and candy cane. So the top piece is red. But again, it gets the overlay, so you don't have to worry about staying in the lines. The little, I gotta figure out what pieces actually get. Okay, so that piece gets covered, so I don't have to worry about staying in the lines. And the candy cane gets covered, so I don't have to worry about staying in the lines on that one. The bottom is red. And then I do the little tabs at the bottom. Pretty easy, really. Easier than you think. I do believe that the two presents in the middle are not 3D, so we are going to have to paint them. The bows are 3D, but the presents themselves are not. Only the one to the left. Okay, so one's dark green, one's light green. So this is what you should have before the pieces are on. So there's that one. Next is reindeer. Let me see which presents. Okay, the white present is 3D. The present to the left is not. So we're going to make it red. And the middle of the train, dark green. My sleeves are bothering me. And don't worry if you go over onto the reindeer. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, because there's a line that goes across and then the hooves get 3D. I thought I messed up, but I didn't. So then this is what this one should look like. Last one, that was it? That actually wasn't so bad. I'm on the last one already. I thought it'd be way worse than it was. Okay, Christmas tree. I'm doing dark green. I'll probably put a little snow on my Christmas tree. And the gingerbread is 3D, so you can cross over onto him for the end piece. This is kind of probably more detailed project that we've done in a while. Okay, I think, is this, I think we have to paint this present white on the end. And get some sponge, which you know how I feel about painting white. It takes a gazillion coats. But it's only one little present, so I'm sure we will live. Okay. Let me see what color the bottom is. It's red. Gotta get the tabs. And then I think we're ready for assembly. I'm gonna put one more coat on this white present. And then we'll assemble and add any of our last bit of detail. Okay, this is what this one looks like. Okay, we're going to start at the front, work our way back. We're going to start with Sandy. I'm going to have to put some details on his face once we get it glued down. Got to color in his eyeballs and his eyebrows. But let's get them on there first. This piece, the roof piece is red. I think I might add like snow speckles to all of it. But we'll see. Okay, I am going to, where is the green? Right here. Green little strip that goes underneath him. I'm going to give him a minute to dry, and then I'll work on his eyelashes and eyeballs. This little tiny second line under this is really teensy, so don't lose yours when you're unwrapping. There we go. And then this piece, I believe, mine could use another coat. Try to put a little coat on there real quick. This goes on the front. It all starts to come together when you put your pieces on. Now we need red back for the wheels. And then all the tires are little peppermints. Let me get my white paint marker. If you don't have a paint marker, you can always just use a paintbrush. I'm just going to color in his eyebrows. for his eyes. I'll probably just use a black paint marker for his eyes. But you can use the back of a paintbrush. I just don't want to get out black paint and waste it. Okay, now we gotta put his beard on. Make sure you put the line underneath Santa on before you put his beard on, because it does cover it. His brim. And a little ball on the end of his hat. And of course I didn't paint enough red on his hat, so we're going to have to get a teensy tiny brush and get in that little crack. There we go. And then he has a little white cuff for his, under his glove, so don't lose that when you're unpacking either. Okay. Gonna put his candy cane wheels on. I think I might have the wrong one. What the world? Guess we'll have to keep trying them until we see which one fits. Nope. Nope. Who knew they were so different? What in the heck? I took them all apart to paint them, so I know they go together. I just gotta figure out how they go together. Okay, well this is the only big one, so how can it not? Oh. Okay. Might take you a few minutes, but you'll get it. I just pinched them together and then glued them. Okay, now I gotta figure out which one of these whites. Oh no, wrong one. It's kind of smaller. They all look the same. There we go. That's tricky. Okay, so here he is with no detail. The detail is what makes it. So don't judge yet. Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, there's that one with no detail, so don't judge her yet. That's the first piece. Okay. Next piece, presents. Okay, light green on top. Then, dark green. Oh, you know what we forgot? We forgot the lights. Hold on, going back to Santa. We forgot the little Christmas lights that hang underneath him. Duh. Cute. Okay. Next piece. Presents. Long green piece. Okay. Now, candy canes get a red backing and then the white piece on top. So red back. Might want to do the piece that goes straight across the bottom though first to make sure it's all straight. So long piece, and then candy canes. White present on the end. And I gotta find the bows. I think it's this one, yeah. And then white bow, candy canes. White bow. Whoa. The white bow got a little. I'm gonna put a little dark green on this too. Whoa. So I feel like it needs both colors. I'm going to show you what I mean once I get it done. Just touching just a little bit of the edges with the sponge. Except for that's not the one. So now I just did this on one that it doesn't belong on. Sheesh. Let's see. That doesn't go there. I didn't paint this up far enough red. I'm a mess. Okay. Wrong bow. I'm going to try this on this one. A little bit on the edge. Probably paint the little dot in the middle too. The opposite green. I might do that. Let me get the end of a small brush. Okay, let me get my candy canes on and I'll show you guys. Actually, I gotta get the tires, then I'll show you. Okay, we gotta put the lights on. They go across the top. I think the lights are what make it, in my opinion. I love it. Okay, green and white. I was fighting with these. I feel like they're all the same, but apparently they're not. There we go. Definitely make sure you fit them together before you go gluing anything down. Oh my gosh. Hold on. That was close. Don't forget the underneath piece. See, this is why I gotta do it first. Keep you all from screwing up. It's hard. I all of a sudden have comments. It's really random. Okay. Here it is with no highlights or no details yet. That is cute. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of white lines, you know how I always like to do accent lines, and then I think I'm going to sprinkle it all with snow. Okay, on this one, we have to glue the strip down. we're gonna have to do a couple details on the reindeer. Okay, that's down. There's a white present. We're gonna get it down. The reindeer does have hooves and antlers. I'm gonna do some details on him first before I put his 3D pieces on. We got to make his eyes black. I'm using a paint marker. You can use the back of your paintbrush. He needs some little tiny bit of light pink in his ears. So that's going to take probably a thin brush. Just a little tiny bit in the center of his ears. And then his nose is 3D, I believe. Yes. You make sure he doesn't get anything else. I don't think so. So we're going to put his little antlers on. Be careful not to get into your pink paint that you just painted. Little antlers on. And then his little hoofs. They hang over the line that you gotta glue down first. Aw, that's cute. Okay, I gotta glue his nose on. Careful when you're gluing on the stain, because the stain shows the glue marks. Okay, now we got a dark green bow on the white present. We need the Christmas lights. Don't forget the back of the tires first, like I just did last time. Luckily the glue hadn't set up yet. Okay, so the back goes on, and then it's red and white. Red and white. I pinch them together to like get them to hold, because it's much easier to glue them down that way than to try to do it one at a time, because I feel like you'll get glue everywhere. Okay, this is this piece. I'm trying not to mess up the tires I just glued down. Look how cute he is. So cute. Let that dry. Okay, last piece. We're going to do the line across. That is a light green. Gotta find my gingerbread man right here, which I believe we're going to have to put some detail on him. I'm going to glue him down first. Present bow. Back of the wheels. Actually goes together pretty quick once you get going. Let's put the lights on. And then the candy canes, or peppermints, candy canes. Peppermints. And then we're going to put detail on our tree and the gingerbread man. So for the gingerbread man, it's probably going to be easiest with a paint marker or like a super fine paintbrush. Uh-oh, trouble has arrived. How was the curling going?
Good.
Did you figure it
I
out?
just thought a while ago.
Oh, good.
No, I didn't. They didn't work. I just called my hair regular.
Oh, okay. Okay, so gingerbread man, I think it's too small for even my paint markers, so I'm going with like a super fine brush. And I'm going to do the eyes. Actually, I'm going to use the back of my brush for the eyes, because it's hard to make a circle.
Where did Dad go?
In there.
No, like he left.
What?
He left?
He left?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't even know he left. You're bumping my table.
Sorry. How's it going?
It's going. Okay. Now I just have the little tiny sleeve lines. It is really hard to get this tiny. Yeah, my hands are like shaking. Okay. I'm gonna put some snow on the tree with my little dabber do. So if you want to put snow on something, these are stencil brushes. They're flat. I use these always when I'm trying to put snow on something. Just dab it in the white and then dab off on your, you want it to barely be, and then you just dab. If you're wanting to cover and paint, you're going to go like this. But make sure you have nothing that you don't want covered in snow around it because it gets everywhere. That's how I do that. Okay. Check it out. Okay, I'm going to go back and add some highlights. I am going to add snow after the video because I don't want it all over my iPad. But you'll see it in the picture when I share it tomorrow. So you can see the full effect and how it looks with snow and make a choice whether you want snow on yours or not. Okay, let me get my paint marker and get set here. Oh, we gotta glue these stands down. Okay, when you're gluing these down for your each train, make sure you have it the right way because there's two different ways. And you'll see what I mean when you go to glue it down. You gotta finagle to make sure they fit the right way. Because there is a right way and a wrong way. I'm going to let these dry while we put some highlights on there. And then they should be good to go when we're done. Oh, no. Okay. Where's my paint marker? If you don't have a paint marker, you can do this with a thin brush too. Put my glue up out of the way. Okay. Okay, I was making sure I was still alive. Whoa. Okay, we're gonna add some highlights. And then, let's see what it looks like all set up. Now, for the highlights, there's no, like, wrong or right way. You just have to go with it. Don't overthink it. I know that's easier said than done. I'm just so used to doing it that it doesn't take a whole lot of... Okay. I feel like single highlights at the top and on the front. And then once you get covered with snow, I think it'll have a lot of character. Okay, next one. Actually, I forgot. I'm gonna put one on this front line. And a little bolt. Okay. I'll put some highlights on my bows. Okay. See, doesn't the highlights add such little character? I added some little dots across the bottom too. I did that on the first one. I didn't get to show you, but I feel like that adds a little fun little effect. Okay. And you could have a little bit of snow on the reindeer's antlers too. I wish I would have done that before I put my brush in the water. There's that one. That is so fun. Okay, last one, then we're gonna see what she looks like. Okay. Now, I don't know if there's a difference for each one of these stands to a certain piece, so we're gonna figure that out. Maybe there's 2 bigger ones and 2 smaller ones, so I think they're every other one. And I know it's backwards to you guys, but actually I think it goes like this. You can do it whatever direction you want, but how stinking cute is that? How cute is that? That is so stinking cute. And don't forget your sign. I don't know where you guys can see it the best, but look at that. And I know the lighting's horrible, and I'll share pictures tomorrow. But also, replay will be on YouTube if it's not in the group after a while. I think it's 30 days, it deletes it. So it'll be on YouTube if you're doing this later on. And if you have any questions, as always, send me a message. I'm always here to help. And I will put pictures, finished pictures, in the group tomorrow. And that's about it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Have a good night.